When you mention the word health, what exactly does health mean? Health is not merely the absence of disease, but it refers to your overall well-being, socially, physically, psychologically, mentally, and even finances, right? But let's zero in on physical health. When you look at our current world today, we are seeing a surge of non-communicable diseases globally. When we zero it down to Kenya, the health industry is facing a very major burden from the non-communicable diseases, and a major group of the non-communicable diseases are autoimmune diseases or conditions. Autoimmunity is simply the process where instead of the body protecting itself, it attacks itself. The most common one are cardiovascular diseases and hypertension, cancer, HIV, and of course, diabetes. As a matter of fact, in Kenya, we have received recently 20,000 new cases of HIV.
You don't get sick because you're getting older. You don't get sick because you have a bad gene. You get sick because your body has lost the nutrients it needs to stay healthy. Period. Linus Pauling said, you can trace the genesis of every disease to mineral deficiencies. Period. You run out of calcium and magnesium, you get high blood pressure, you get low back pain, you get an arthritic problem. You run out of copper, you get hemorrhoids, varicose veins, or aortic aneurysms. You run out of vanadium and chromium, you get blood sugar abnormalities, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, syndrome X, insulin resistance syndrome, whatever you want to call it. You run out of multiple nutrients, you develop uncontrolled food cravings and become obese. This is not your grandfather's Geritol. This is science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, and interestingly enough, we offer it up for the masses. You need to educate yourself, ladies and gentlemen, about what you can do right now to support your body's built-in God-given ability to fix itself, because your medical doctor does not believe in that supposition.
In the past 25 years, the major research that has been going on in the medical field, in the medical space, has been with regards to immunity. Within the same 25 years, the most awarded Nobel Peace Prizes are those related to the groundbreaking innovations and research and findings or revelations related to the immune system. The immune system is it's quite an interesting topic. For example, new research has revealed that 80%, 75 to 80% of your immune system is not in your blood the way we initially thought. Apparently, that resides in your gut, and that there are four areas, major areas, where the immune system resides. In your brain, we call them glial cells. In your liver, we call them Kappa cells. In your blood, they are the white blood cells, and then we have the gut, right? And the gut, it's a whole new universe, majorly made up of the microbiome, good gut bacteria, bad gut bacteria. So when the bad outweighs the good, we call it dysbiosis. When the good outweighs the bad, then we say that your gut microbiome is balanced. It's a pity that millions of people in our world today are grappling desperately to seek for solutions that are majorly caused by illnesses that attack their immune system. The foods that we've been taught to eat from the time we were kids, apparently they have caused us more harm and damage as a population, more than we think or beyond what you can fathom. How do we deal with this as a community? First, we need to understand that health does not happen in the doctor's office. Health happens first in the environment where we live. It begins in our farms. When you look at the farms, the current trends in the farming industry reveal that pesticides are the order of the day. Why do they use pesticides? To kill pests, of course. They also use other chemicals in order to boost crop fertility. We also have technological advancement in GMO, genetic modification, where most of the foods that you consume today are genetically engineered. in order to boost crop yields, number one, in order to make them resistant to pesticides, because apparently the pesticides also harm the crops. Now, the crops have to be altered, genetically altered, in order to accommodate or in order to tolerate the pesticides that are being sprayed on them. Let's take a look at this video.
Today, our most common crops are genetically altered to resist the spraying of toxic pesticides. For example, the #1 crop in the United States, field corn, is almost entirely sprayed with glyphosate, a chemical suspected to cause cancer that's so oversprayed, it's found its way into our drinking water.
These chemicals, which were considered dangerous to begin with, are now being used at rates that would have been inconceivable 20 years ago.
Every year, for every American alive, 3 pounds of toxic chemicals are sprayed onto the food grown on our farms.
That goes into the soil, it goes into the water, it goes into our bodies. It's not just on the food you eat, it's everywhere.
Most of the agricultural industry's pesticides and herbicides transfer directly through breast milk to babies. There are over 200 peer-reviewed studies that correlate the spraying of these toxic chemicals to effects like ADD in children, pediatric cancers, and birth defects. That's why juries have begun to award billions of dollars in damages to people who contracted cancer after using glyphosate.
We know, for example, that glyphosate, which is also known as Roundup, has an effect on the gut microbiome that may lead to disturbances that can create disease, including cancer.
A big reason these chemicals make us sick is because just as toxic chemicals kill the microbes in the soil, they also kill the microbes in our bodies.
What I tell people is your body can handle acute stresses, but it cannot handle chronic stresses. Soil ecosystems the same way. If you keep dumping the fungicides, you keep dumping the herbicide, you keep dumping the insecticides, you keep doing the tillage, chronic stress, it doesn't function anymore.
Since chemical agriculture ramped up worldwide in the 1970s, we have lost 1/3 of the Earth's topsoil.
Health also happens in our kitchen. How do you prepare food? How is food prepared in the industries and in our home kitchens? Apparently, we tend to add a lot of artificial additives, which also pose a health problem in the long run. Dietary choices, the decisions we make in selecting our foods, how we eat these meals, also largely affects us in the overall run.
Hi there, my fellow Kenyans. I'd like to talk to you about this tomato,
this skuma,
this watermelon,
this mango.
This tomato has a variety of nutritional benefits, from potassium to vitamin C and much more.
But you probably knew that already.
But there's something else inside this skuma that you probably didn't know exists.
It has a poison that is slowly killing all of us.
A poison that comes from the type of pesticides that we use.
Now, the fact is, these pesticides make their way into our country, onto our farms, and eventually onto our plates.
Yet, they have been banned in other countries because they are toxic.
So why should it be safe to use them here and not good enough to be used in other countries?
Talk about double standards.
Here's another fact.
It's been proven that some of these pesticides contain chemicals that cause chronic disease such as cancer
and other health problems like a respiratory failure, infertility, and brain damage in children.
We think we can wash them off, but we can't.
Let's not forget the devastation caused to our environment.
My fellow Kenyans, we must get to the root of this problem together.
Our food is literally eating us.
Let's stand up, speak out for our health,
our children's health,
and the health of future generations.
The Root to Food initiative is taking this to the women and men we should hold accountable for the safety of all Kenyans.
A parliamentary petition to safeguard our future.
Time is running out.
So please take a minute to engage your MP
on Twitter, Facebook, or however you can,
and urge them to support the petition to stop the use of toxic pesticides in the country.
Remember, change starts from the ground up. Change starts with you.
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 Join me in the next video as we'll be looking at ways in which you can grow crops without using pesticides. In the meantime, remember that change starts with you.